and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. If you jump on here live here on this Monday evening, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure to give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. Now, tonight, I am going to talk about Duke, as you can tell by the title of the video, but we're also going to talk some NASCAR. We're also going to talk some baseball. Hey there, Jacob. Glad to have you here. As always, let's start out in the world of baseball because about an hour or so ago, the Braves improved to 3-1 on this young baseball season. Now, usually what I try to do is a Braves review about every week throughout the season. Now, sometimes I do forget, but I try to do about one a week. I usually do one on, either Sunday or Monday since the week just concluded. So I know the Braves have only played 4 games so far, counting tonight, since the season just started on Friday. But I want to go ahead and get it in now instead of waiting until next Monday when we got a week and a half of baseball in. 3-1 so far on the season. Tonight, Bryce Elder pitched, in my opinion, the best game he's pitched at the big league level. Now, I know the A's are not any good, but Bryce Elder's also not any good. So, when you've got not good against not good, Bryce Elder won that battle. But the A's problem is they have no pitching. They can hit, they just have no pitching. So for Bryce Elder to shut out the A's tonight made me feel really good. Walt Weiss, so far to me, has done a really good job. The only thing I don't like is he's doing the same thing that Brian Snitker always did, and I've never understood it and never liked it, and that is changing the lineup every day. If you've got somebody batting in a certain spot and they're not hitting well, you move them. But if you have somebody in a certain spot that's hitting well, you leave them. Leaving, most of the core guys. Acuna's hit off every day. Baldwin's batting second about every day. But that's really about it. We've had Matt Olson already bat third and fourth. Austin Riley's already hit fourth and fifth. And Michael Harris Jr., they showed his numbers, and his best career stats hitting is when he hits ninth. And he come out opening day, hit ninth, had a home run. The very next day, he's hitting seventh. I don't understand it. I know that, he's going back and forth, playing different guys based on who's pitching, a righty or a lefty. But that shouldn't change your core lineup. If Michael Harris hit ninth one day, the next day, if you take out Eli White and you put in Mike Yastrzemski, that's your fifth or sixth spot in the batting order. That shouldn't affect Michael Harris. You don't move Harris from ninth to seventh because you went from Eli White to Yastrzemski when they're batting fifth or sixth. It just does not make sense to me. Put somebody in a spot and leave them there. But outside of that, Walt Weiss so far has done a very good job. Hey there, Mario. Glad to have you here. In the world of NASCAR, yesterday we had the Cookout 400 from Martinsville. And unfortunately, the one driver that I always say anybody but him, well, yesterday, that's Chase Elliott. And Mario, you shouldn't cry. Crying does you no good and gets you nowhere. Denny Hamlin comes home second, followed by Joey Logano, Ty Gibbs, and William. Byron 6 through 10, Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, Austin Cindric, Kyle Larson, and Josh Berry. No race this week for the Cup Series because of Easter. We'll have a Craftsman Truck Series race, and we'll have an O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race, but no Cup race. I want to say they raced last year on Easter. I could be wrong, but for the most part, 99% of the time, the Cup Series is off on Easter weekend. So no race this weekend. Then be the following Sunday, April the 12th, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, the Food City 500 from Bristol Motor Speedway. Hard to believe, already 7 races into the 2026 NASCAR Cup Series season. But I wanted tonight to talk about Duke. I know, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but I would say probably Duke basketball and Notre Dame football are the two most despised and hated collegiate programs. They're neck and neck. I'm not sure which one will be number one, but it's definitely Duke in the basketball world and Notre Dame in the football world, no matter which one you think would be number one. But my question has nothing to do with Duke as a program, just what they're doing right now. But, Hubert Davis, even though I still think he's a terrible coach, awful coach, he was the wrong guy to hire in the first place. But we all know that the only reason Hubert Davis got fired is because, he took over for Roy Williams. But at the same time, Jon Scheyer took over for Mike Krzyzewski, and Duke looks like they have not missed a beat, whereas North Carolina looks like they're slowly trending backwards. If Duke wasn't having the success they're having, I think Hubert Davis would still be the coach in North Carolina. But last year, Duke was up by 6 points against Houston with 1 minute and 14 seconds left and lost the game. And then yesterday, they were up by as many as 19 points, up by 15 points at halftime, and they lost the game. So why isn't Jon Scheyer getting criticized like Hubert Davis was and still is? Because if you look at the rosters, Duke all day long has a better roster than North Carolina. So Duke should be expected to do more than North Carolina because of the roster differential. And Duke has had the best player in the country back-to-back years, and they've got nothing to show for it. The number one seeds in the tournament were 34-0 when leading at halftime until yesterday when Duke lost. Now, of course, you have fans that blame coaches all the time and never blame players. And then you have fans that blame players all the time and blame the coaches. So you can blame the players, you can blame the coach, you can blame both. You can blame neither if you do so choose. Duke's had the best player in the country 2 straight years. They've had big leads late in the game 2 straight years, and they've lost both times. But yet nobody wants to question Jon Scheyer, and yet Hubert Davis doesn't have near the talent Duke does, but everybody wants to question Hubert Davis. Doesn't make any sense to me. And I just wonder, why is it that Duke should be expected to do more because they've got better talent, but yet we don't talk about Jon Scheyer, but Hubert Davis gets fired, and I think he pretty much got fired because of Jon Scheyer. Hey there, Johnny. Glad to have you here. Kind of like years ago when South Carolina was worth a darn in any sport, which right now outside of girls basketball, they're not. But back in the day, South Carolina had a really, really good baseball team, and they won 2 straight national championships, played for a 3rd straight, and lost to Arizona, but won 2 straight. Well, in 2010, on their way to a national championship, they beat Clemson in the playoffs to win that national championship. And a couple of years later, Clemson fires Jack Leggett as their head coach. There's not a doubt in my mind, had South Carolina not won back-to-back national championships, Clemson would have never fired Jack Leggett. Jack Leggett was having all kind of success And Clemson was a College World Series team about every year. But since their bitter rivals won 2 straight national titles, for Jack Leggett to just get to the playoffs and just get to the World Series wasn't good enough. Well, that's kind of the way I feel now about Hubert Davis. I thought he was the wrong hire from the get. But if Duke was right now struggling to keep their head above water, I think Hubert Davis would still be Tar Heels coach. But since they're your bitter rival and they had a coach take over for a legend and they ain't missed a beat, why are the Tar Heels getting worse? And that's why Hubert Davis got fired. Johnny says Roman Reigns will be fighting CM Punk at WrestleMania. Yeah, Johnny, you are right. That's probably going to main event on one of the nights. I don't know which one, but it's probably going to main event one of the nights. And the other night, the main event is probably going to be Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. I think they're doing something different this year. They've been doing lately where, one of the nights, the main event would be a girls' match, and the other night, the main event would be a boys' match. It looks like this year, both nights, the main event is going to be a men's match. Be CM Punk one night and Cody and Randy Orton the next night. So Jon Scheyer goes out and blows huge leads 2 straight years, has the best player in the country 2 straight years, and never before had we seen a number 1 seed in the tournament lead at halftime and then lose until Jon Scheyer. But yet, we don't talk about Jon Scheyer. Not sure what it is, but it seems like he's just getting by with anything and everything right now. But let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. What kind of birds stick together? Velcros. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3.